The Honourable Adam Searle.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. I rise this afternoon to draw the House's attention to an issue of work-life balance and the inability of both New South Wales law and the practice of the New South Wales health system to be able to support family-friendly work practices. Issues around family-friendly work, the need for flexible working hours, are usually associated with the desire of working mothers to balance their careers and return to their working life with ongoing obligations to their families. But recently in the newspaper on the 25th of March in the Sydney Morning Herald, a case involving two fathers was drawn to the public's attention. And this matter arose from a decision of the Industrial Relations Commission of New South Wales last November. South Western Sydney Local Health District, which runs Liverpool Hospital, employed a range of carpenters, including two men who were twins, Mr Cameron Zammit and Mr Craig Zammit. For over 8 years, the Zammits had been allowed to work from 6 a.m. until 2:30 p.m, Monday to Friday, rather than the usual shift of their work colleagues in the maintenance department, which ran from 7 o'clock to 3:30 p.m. That arrangement was allowed to them in order that they may collect their primary school children for whom they had carers' responsibilities, and they of course had to pick them up at around about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, as I said, these arrangements had been in place for the better part of a decade with no negative impact on efficiency or cost to the employer or the delivery of services. And yet, without any explanation, the two men were required to reapply for their flexible working hours and then had the continuation of those arrangements discontinued. The Human Resources Director, or Assistant Director, who seemed to have had responsibility for making this important decision, did not, in her evidence, appear to know the ages of their children or their personal circumstances or the impact that her decision or the decision of the local health district might have upon the family concerned. She also seemed to be blissfully unaware of information on the hospital website which actually extolled its virtues as a family-friendly employer, extolling the virtues of work-life balance, which could be achieved through job-sharing, part-time work, or, yes, flexible working hours. Evidence given for the employer was really around that the hospital was experiencing performance issues and really needed to manage its resources as efficiently, effectively and responsibly as it could, and to overcome its accumulated deficit of $8.2 million. But none of this explained how the differential working hours of the two men concerned impacted on that deficit or in any way impeded the efficient working of the maintenance section. The only evidence that really could be seen is that at the end of the shift at 3:30 there was usually end of shift discussion, which if the men weren't present they couldn't participate in. But the hospital didn't seem to think that communicating with the men by phone to tell them what to do the next morning, or perhaps leaving them a list of instructions either in writing or by email, was satisfactory. Now, of course, given the potential change for their working hours, the two men, who of course are on modest incomes, face a very significant change to their lives. They have no immediate family members to assist them. If the children are dropped to school by their mothers, and of course the fathers were to pick them up. If the fathers are not able to pick them up, that either requires the working women to have an impact on their working careers, to perhaps shorten their hours in order that they can pick up the children, or for the family to be put to the significant expense of paid childcare. And of course the limited means of the family made it quite clear that that wasn't really available. But what really emerged from all of this was the fact that the hospital appears to have acted for no real reason, which of course raises the issue of the need to actually change the law, presumably the discrimination laws of this state, to include a positive legal duty on employers to reasonably accommodate the needs of workers who have carer or family responsibilities, and importantly, who request or indeed need the continuation of flexible working arrangements. Obviously, the law of the state is not working fairly, justly, or effectively.